There's one everyday vegetable that eye doctors keep pointing to when it comes to protecting your vision as you get older, and researchers have specifically studied it in relation to one of the leading causes of vision loss after 60. It's cheap, it's easy to find in any grocery store, and there's a good chance you're either eating too little of it or skipping it entirely. Stick around, because I'll walk through exactly what the research says, how much you actually need, and one surprising detail about how you cook it that changes how much your body absorbs. Hi everyone, welcome back to WiseBody Wellness. Today we're talking about kale, and specifically, why it keeps showing up in eye health research more than almost any other food. Vision changes are one of the most common concerns for people over 60, and while nothing in your diet can reverse existing eye disease or replace regular checkups with an eye doctor, there's real research behind certain nutrients that may help protect the vision you still have. Let's get into what's actually going on. Why vision changes so much after 60? Before we get to kale specifically, it helps to understand what's actually happening inside your eyes as you age. The macula, a small area at the center of your retina, is responsible for sharp, detailed central vision, the kind you use for reading, recognizing faces, and driving. Over decades, the macula is exposed to a constant stream of light, including high-energy blue light, which can generate oxidative stress in the surrounding tissue over time. This gradual oxidative damage is a major factor in age-related macular degeneration, often shortened to AMD, which is one of the leading causes of vision loss in adults over 60 in the developed world. It's also a factor in cataracts, a clouding of the eye's lens that becomes increasingly common with age. This is where kale enters the picture, because it happens to be one of the richest natural sources of two specific compounds that the macula uses directly for its own protection. Lutein and zeaxanthin, the macula's own nutrients. Kale is exceptionally rich in two carotenoids, called lutein and zeaxanthin. What makes these two compounds different from most other nutrients we talk about on this channel is that they aren't just generally healthy, they're specifically and directly used by the macula itself. Your eyes concentrate lutein and zeaxanthin into a region called the macular pigment, where they function almost like a pair of internal sunglasses, filtering out high-energy blue light before it can damage the delicate tissue underneath. Kale contains some of the highest concentrations of both lutein and zeaxanthin of any commonly eaten vegetable, generally ranking above spinach, broccoli, and most other leafy greens gram for gram, which is a large part of why it gets singled out specifically in this kind of research rather than leafy greens in general. Now here's the study that really put lutein and zeaxanthin on the map for eye doctors, and it's more significant than most nutrition research you'll come across. The AREDS2 research. One of the most important studies in this entire field is a large, long-term clinical trial called AREDS2, conducted by the National Eye Institute. This wasn't a small observational study. It followed thousands of older adults who already had signs of age-related macular degeneration, tracking their disease progression over 5 years, while some participants took a specific nutrient formulation that included lutein and zeaxanthin, alongside vitamin C, vitamin E, zinc, and copper. It's important to be accurate about what this study actually showed. It was studying people who already had signs of AMD, and it looked at slowing progression, not reversing damage that had already occurred, or preventing the disease from ever developing in someone with healthy eyes. But the fact that lutein and zeaxanthin specifically were central to a finding this significant is exactly why eye doctors now regularly recommend lutein and zeaxanthin-rich foods like kale as part of a broader approach to protecting vision with age. Kale and cataract risk beyond macular degeneration. Kale's nutrient profile has also been studied in relation to cataracts, the clouding of the eye's lens that affects a large percentage of adults by the time they reach their 70s and 80s. Several observational studies following large groups of adults over many years have found that those with higher dietary intake of lutein and zeaxanthin had a meaningfully lower incidence of cataracts requiring surgery, compared to those with lower intake. Researchers believe the same antioxidant mechanism that protects the macula from oxidative damage may also help protect the proteins in the eye's lens from the kind of oxidative changes that lead to clouding over time. This research is generally considered less definitive than the AREDS2 findings for macular degeneration, since much of it is observational rather than a controlled clinical trial. but the consistency of the pattern across multiple large studies has been enough to keep researchers interested in this connection. Vitamin A and night vision kale contains beta-carotene, a compound your body converts into vitamin A as needed. Vitamin A plays a well-established role in vision, specifically in how the retina processes light, including its role in night vision and adjusting to changes in lighting. Severe vitamin A deficiency, though uncommon in developed countries, is a well-documented cause of vision problems, including difficulty seeing in low light. While most people in the United States aren't severely deficient, some research suggests that older adults, particularly those with reduced appetite or limited dietary variety, may run lower on vitamin A than they realize, and ensuring adequate intake through foods like kale may support the retina's ability to function properly across different lighting conditions. This is a more foundational benefit compared to the specific research on lutein, zeaxanthin, and macular degeneration, but it's worth including because vitamin A deficiency is one of the more overlooked, correctable factors that can affect vision quality, especially in low light or nighttime driving situations that many older adults find increasingly difficult. How cooking method affects nutrient content. Beyond the fat pairing, how you cook kale also affects its nutrient content, though the research here is a bit more nuanced than a simple raw versus cooked comparison. Light cooking, such as a brief sauté or steam, actually appears to break down kale's tough cell walls enough to make some of its nutrients, including certain carotenoids, more bioavailable, meaning more easily absorbed, compared to eating it completely raw. However, prolonged boiling can cause some water-soluble nutrients, like vitamin C, to leach out into the cooking water and be lost. A quick sauté in a small amount of olive oil, which conveniently also solves the fat absorption issue we just covered, tends to be one of the more nutrient-preserving methods according to several comparative studies on leafy green preparation. Massaging raw kale with a small amount of olive oil and lemon juice for a salad, another popular preparation method, also appears to help break down some of the tough fibrous texture in a way that may improve both digestibility and nutrient absorption, while keeping the heat-sensitive nutrients fully intact. How much kale you actually need. So how much kale should you actually be eating to get meaningful benefit? Most of the research showing measurable effects on macular pigment density use somewhere in the range of 1 to 2 cups of cooked kale, or a roughly equivalent larger amount of raw kale, consumed several times a week, with some studies using daily intake for the strongest observed effects. It's worth noting that macular pigment density, the actual concentration of lutein and zeaxanthin in your eyes, builds up gradually over weeks and months of consistent intake, similar to several of the other topics we've covered on this channel. This isn't a same-day effect. Some studies measuring macular pigment density found meaningful increases after about 4 to 6 months of consistent daily intake, which is a helpful timeline to keep in mind so you don't expect immediate results. If a full cup or two of kale most days sounds like a lot, it doesn't have to be eaten alone. Adding a handful to a morning smoothie, mixing it into soups, sautéing it as a simple side dish, or using it as a base for a salad a few times a week can add up to a meaningful weekly intake without requiring a dramatic diet overhaul. What kale can't do. Before we wrap up, it's important to be honest about the limits here too. Kale and the lutein and zeaxanthin it contains may help slow the progression of existing macular degeneration and appear linked to lower cataract risk over time, but it cannot reverse vision loss that has already occurred, and it's not a substitute for regular eye exams. Many serious eye conditions, including glaucoma and diabetic eye disease, aren't significantly affected by diet in the same way, and early detection through regular checkups remains the most important thing you can do to protect your vision as you age. If you're over 60 and haven't had a comprehensive eye exam in the past year, that's genuinely one of the most valuable things you can do for your long-term vision, regardless of what you're eating. Diet and regular medical care work together here, not as substitutes for one another. If you found this helpful, hit subscribe. We cover research-backed health topics for people over 60 every week, and we always try to give you the honest picture of what food can and can't do. If you missed our video on the powder that may support your joints and skin when added to your morning coffee, I'll link it right here. Protecting your vision really can start with something as simple as what's on your plate. See you in the next one.